Hey there, in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to record a DJ edit using Logic Pro X and Serato Sample. And if you stick around till the end of this video, I'll show you how you can get my free ultimate playlist guide where I not only give you my top resources where I download my music from, but I also give you my strategy that will rock any party and help you get consistent gigs. I'm DJ Nicole Otero, professional DJ from NYC, now living in Puerto Rico. And on this channel, I teach aspiring DJs how to get started DJing and start their DJ biz. So let's get started, DJ. The first thing you want to do is create a new Logic Pro X session. And I'm going to pick an audio track and just go create. And I'm just going to make this a little larger so we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to pick my BPM here. So right now I have this at 120, that's the default. But if you come here to the right, well, this makes sure to let you know that you're looking at bars and beats. So that's what you should be looking at. You should also just create your session, right? So you want to go save as, name this, whatever you want. I'm going to call it DJ edit tutorial. And I'm going to save it on my desktop just so I know where it goes, because otherwise it could be a little tricky finding your session, and then go save. So I've created a new session. I'm going to come up to the right now to Apple Loops, and I like to go by genre. So again, I'm going to go back to the BPM. I know I want to make this kind of like a tech house edit. And yeah, so I'm going to make it 125 BPM. And if I go to genre and I go to tech house, which is what I want, I then can just start listening to tracks like this. Or I think I want to use this one. Maybe it was bongo house beat. Yeah, I think I'll try bongo house beat. Bring it here. And now if you press spacebar on your computer, it'll just press play. Pretty cool. And if you want to loop that, if you come to the center here, you see how it turns into this like little loop thing, and you can just loop for however long you want. So you usually want to work, especially with house music, but most music, you want to work in like intervals of 8 bars and or bars of 4. So maybe you want it to be a 12-bar loop. So yeah, so now I'm also going to pick another one. So now I'm going to come up here to create a new track, or you can use this, which is just duplicate. It'll automatically create an audio track. And I'm going to surf down now. And I'm pretty sure what I would want is, let's see, spotless beat. So I'm going to bring this here. And then now let's listen to this beat. Okay, and then I could just loop this again as well. So now if I play these both together, and if I want to mix them, you could press X on your keyboard and decide how, how loud you want these. You could even maybe spread them out in the pan a bit. Okay. So now you've got just like a bass beat, right? Now the next thing I'm going to do is create a new type of track, a software instrument track. So I press plus here, I go to software instrument, create. And I have installed Serato Sample, which by the way is, I think they offer a free trial. And then I think it's $99. Don't quote me. It may have gone up since I first started working with it. But it's $99 to buy the plugin, the best investment you'll ever make in your production process. And if you are a student and you use your student email, you can get a student discount. So you can get that at Serato.com and just look for Serato Sample. But yeah, so the default in Logic always opens up to something like classic electric piano, or so I'm going to click to the right here, and then I'm going to go down to AU instruments, because that's where Serato, once you download it, it will go to, and I'm going to go Serato Sample Stereo. Now, Serato Sample is empty without you actually loading it with some sort of audio file to sample. So you click this, and then I have it on my desktop. So you see here, I already know what I'm going to use, which is the Jack Harlow Lovin' On Me acapella, which I ripped off YouTube. You can pretty much find any instrumental or acapella on YouTube. So open up. And then if you press play here, now notice first, you see the BPM here? It is automatically linked to the one in the Logic because this is the sync is pressed. If you don't want it to be linked, then just deselect sync, but I do want it to be linked. And I'm just going to press play here.
I'm vanilla, baby. I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby. She 28 telling me I'm still a baby. I get love right like Skilla, baby.
Okay, so then now if you want to create a cue point, there's a couple of ways of doing that, but I just definitely want this to be a cue point here. So I'm going to open up my musical keyboard, which is Command K on my actual keyboard. So if you press Command again, it'll remove it. Just press Command and then K, you get a musical keyboard. And then you see this keyboard here, this is telling you what octave it's playing in. So if you need to adjust that, just, like move it down or move it up, right? So if I press the letter A right where I have this cued here, it's similar to Serato DJ Pro, wherever you have this is kind of where you create a cue point. I'm going to press A and see now the A is actually correlating to K here, but I know if I press A on my keyboard, now I get this, right? So now if I want to record the vocal with these loops, all I have to do is I'm going to press return to come back to the beginning here. Move this to the side, right? So return always brings you back to the beginning. And then I'm going to press R because R is a shortcut to record. And I'll probably get 1 bar intro. And then I'm just going to press the letter A to hold down. Make sure your musical keyboard is always open when you're doing this, FYI. So I'm going to press R. And now I'm recording.
I'm vanilla, baby. I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby. She 28 telling me I'm still a baby. I get love from Detroit like Skilla, baby. And the thing about your boy is I don't need no whips and chains and you can't tie me down. But you can whip your loving on me. That's right, whip your loving on me.
And now I'm going to close both of these so we could see what we've done here. I'm going to press stop, return, bring back to the beginning. And now I have that sample recorded as MIDI. So it is one long MIDI note. Now you don't have to record it as one long MIDI note. You could do it in sections, right? But that is the gist of just getting that a cappella down. Because now I can manipulate it as MIDI, which is really fun. So let me press play and see if it plays. Now, another thing about starting on measure 1 is that if you start a hair before measure 1, you're not going to hear it. So I'm going to drag this and hold down control. Here we go. And now I think I dragged it just a hair. Now you can hear it.
I'm vanilla, baby. I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby. She 28 telling me I'm still a baby. I get love from Detroit like Skilla, baby. And the thing about your boy is
So that's step 1. Now I know there's another song that I'd like to sample that I want to use in this track. So now I'm just going to duplicate this track. I'm going to actually rename this Serato Sample Jack Harlow. So I know what this is, right? And you could always rename it also on the audio file as well, at the MIDI file as well. But so now I'm going to duplicate this. I'll rename this. I'm actually sampling Ego Death, which I'll show you in a second. And so then I got to reopen Serato Sample. Now it has the old sample in there, so I'm going to just eject. So if you just press here is eject. All right. So you could have started from scratch, but it's easier for me to just duplicate the track and then eject. So now I'm going to load a different sample. And then I also, on my desktop, I know I have a ego. Here it is, Thai $ featuring. So this is what I want. I want this ego death sample. So open. And before I showed you how to manually create cue points, but FYI, Serato Sample will find samples for you. So find sample. And now if I open up my musical keyboard and just play various notes, that's the only place you gave you my... It's kind of fun, you know, it makes you be creative in ways you wouldn't have thought. You're like, okay, I wouldn't have maybe created that cue point, but sounds cool to me. And just to give you a little like tutorial on Serato Sample, what's so fun is that you could press this, or you could actually put a filter on it. You can make it louder or softer. You could also change the attack on it. So it comes in softer, or the release is longer even after you let go of the note. Right? So that's cool. And you can even reverse a cue point. That's always fun. So if I press reverse, I love that as well. So that's super fun. But I'm going to actually select all, delete these, because I'm very specific about what cue point I want. My cue point is something like, let's see, play here. I think it just starts here, to be honest. That's all I want right here. I want it to be very recognizable, because that's what DJ edits are about. It's like you're creating an edit of songs where people will recognize them. You know, you're not trying to make some crazy remix where you're just completely changing the song in a very artistic way. I mean, remixes are the bomb. But an edit is more like, hey, I'm just going to tweak it a bit. So you're like, oh, is that the song? Is that, wait a minute, I hear another song. Are you DJing live? Like, it just makes, you know, the dance floor experience a little bit more just unpredictable, I think, and fun. So here I'm going to now just press the letter A again. And now this is my cue point. Right? And then I'm going to go back to the beginning here, return, press R to record. So now I have this recorded twice. I can go in here. I'm going to close Serato Sample and just make sure. See, this came in a little too early. So if I hold down on my mouse, well, your pad on your laptop or mouse, and then just make sure it goes to 1. And then, or you could just highlight these and then also maybe quantize this here to the cue, and then let's play it from the beginning. And now we could just loop this, right? So now you've got 2. I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby. She's 28, telling me I'm still a baby. I get love from Detroit like still a baby. Now, one thing about this sample for me is I feel like there's like this like buzzing frequency above the sample. I kind of just want it to sound subby. So I'm going to go back into Serato Sample, and I'm actually going to just filter this a little. See? It's just bassy now, and that's what I want. So that's what these filters are all about, just to help you figure out what frequencies you want to hear. And the other thing you could start using then to just make it even more like unique or a bit more like a remix is come to the library here. And then you could type in sounds that you want. So I would, create a new software instrument track. Right? And then let's say like I know I'm going to want to use a riser at some point. So you could just type in riser. You could just type in the sounds that you want to hear without having to go through plugins individually. And And yeah, you have all types of risers here. So let's hear what that sounds like. Or maybe you want an adrenaline rush. Let's see, forever riser. I'm going to open up my keyboard again. Because I know I want to break down at some point. Or maybe here. Oh, that's a little much. Right, so if you want to add a riser at some point, that's how you do it. Let's say you want to add like a trap bass line. You know, you could just go trap bass. Good times. And now musical keyboard up again. And the other piece of this that you will need to learn how to know how to do is also, you don't always just want to loop. Sometimes you want to just copy and paste sections, right? So I might be doing this old school because I've used Logic since like the beginning, but I just press Option and then like drag if I want to like move things around, right? And then of course, Command 2 brings you to the mix window, or X if you want the double screen. You know, you have to start working on your mix once you like get everything going. So now I'm going to just show you a quick edit that I made using these exact same tools, just so you could see like how easy you could put something together. And then I'll show you some other, and then maybe I'll just put, show you a little, some like quick mixing tips. So here we go. All right. So here is, an example of something that I've been working on. I'm not quite finished, but I'm going to start it from here because it's just an intro beat. So you can see this is where I put the vocal, and I have a little snippet of the vocal here again, Serato sample. I added a clap, a stock sound. Here's my riser. Now I added a clap and a hi-hat. And most importantly, the ego trip, sample. I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby. She's 28, telling me I'm still a baby. I get love in Detroit like Skilla, baby. And the thing about your boy is, and then I sample the ego trip here again. Listen. Young MISSIONARY, sharp like barbed wire. She stole my heart, that she got archived. I keep it. You hear how I just, with Serato sample, I was able to change the pitch of ego trip. Serato sample is amazing. If you came with a man, let go of his hand. I added another Apple loop here. So it's fun. You can make DJ edits pretty quickly. And then I'll show you quickly how I, on my stereo out track, once you can see I've done some mild mixing here. I've done a little panning, right? You know, you want to spread out your mix. I've added some channel EQ in some tracks. I added some delay or reverb on certain things, but I like to add a multipressor at the stereo out, especially for like dancey tracks, and you can just use a setting, right? So this is what it sounds like. That I have this extreme deep punchy, but like, what if I try, I like another one for dance music. Oh, punchy deep fatness. This one might make everything peak, honestly. Or you can use, you know, it depends what you're doing, you know, but I just dance, you know, house music's all about drums. See how that just like brought everything down? And that might be nice, you know? So that's a multipressor that I just put on the stereo out once I'm kind of done with everything. And then you could just like, you know, bounce this out, as a, make sure you know when the, you know, everything ends, and then you just bounce it to like either a WAV file or an MP3 or both. And then you got something hot off the press that you could play with your DJ sets. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As promised, if you just scroll down to the bottom of this video, there's a link where you can sign up and get my free ultimate playlist guide. I'm DJ Nicole Otero, professional DJ from NYC, and on this channel, I teach beginner and aspiring DJs how to learn how to DJ and get started with their DJ business. And if you like what you see, click subscribe. See you next time, DJ. Bye.